Hello everyone. So here I am with yet another demonstration of a simple yet useful application. This is a demonstration wherein I'll be showing you a simple replica of this command line interface which is hosted over the web, and I'll be accessing it through another browser on my Windows. And yeah, so as you can see, this is a Red Hat Linux interface terminal, right? So I'll be using Apache HTTP service to host the same. For that, I'll have to actually start my HTTP service, right? So for that, I'm using the command. Yeah. Also, a point to mention: in order to access it through another browser on the same connection, as since this is a virtual machine, and it has a different IP, I'll have to actually disable the firewall service over it. So I'll just do that. Yeah, done. Let me show you what we're actually going to do today, right? Yeah, so this is a page which I've just built as a user interface, which will be showing and which will be doing all the things which a Linux terminal does. Yeah, so this is the replica. Actually, there are two terminals on the same page, for which I have used an AJAX implementation. For the parallelism of any or any parallel functionalities on the same page, we actually use AJAX functionality. So yeah, let me show you what it actually does. Right? It actually asks us to just input some basic Linux commands. Um, so yeah, see, you can see that it displays the date. And in order to verify whether even this box works, let me show you some other command. Right, so this is the calendar. Actually, it's over this submit button, but that's fine. It's just to show you the implementation. And you know uh, present working directory, or who am I, all these commands work over this. And it's the reason why it's showing Apache as who am I is because I told you already that I'm using the Apache HTTP web service to host it over this thing. The main point here is that it's connected to a CGI common gateway interface, wherein script is running, which is the Python script. I'll be showing it to you shortly. The main crux behind this whole page. Also I'll be showing you some of the basic Docker commands which can be executed over the same page, like um, the the reason why the Docker services weren't running on that page was because I didn't start the Docker services on the server itself first. So I started it now, and we can just see whether we can actually access the images present on the page, right? Okay. I hope it should work now, right? Yeah. So the reason why it wasn't working because it was a security issue on the Linux. So I actually uh, disabled that security for some time so that my browser can access whatever is present on the server, right? So after executing the sudo docker images command on this terminal, we can see that there are two operating systems present on the server, which were kind of created 10 months ago. quite evident from whatever is there on the screen, right? Let me just check whether there are any containers listed on these operating systems. No, so there is no container ID which is being assigned so far. So what I'll be doing is I'll be actually starting a container on Ubuntu. Just let me show you how that is done. So this is the command which we use in order to start a container, which will be giving me a terminal, which is not an interactive terminal because for obvious reasons we cannot have an interactive terminal here at present. I'll be working on that later. And this is the name I've given to my container, which I'll be showing it to you right away, where in the column of names this name will be displayed, and I'll be hosting an Ubuntu container, right? So let me check whether it actually got hosted or not. Yeah, so there you see it just was created 12 seconds ago, this container which has the image of Ubuntu and the name is iShowBoys, which I've given it here, right? For example, even if we don't give any name to a container, which we like, it is by default given to it. It's like, when I do this, a container gets created, and you can always check whether it got hosted or not. See, as I told you, generated name is given to it by default. It's randomly distributed name. This is how we can kind of do wonders with Docker. Docker is so lightweight and it's so easy to start, stop, that it consumes a very little amount of space on the server wherever you're hosting it. So that's a very nice thing to have. Alright, coming to the scripting part of the whole web page and application. This is the HTML script which I have written, where I've implemented two simple boxes, which is a submit button and an output field. And as you must have observed that the output field also changes as and when the input is being given dynamically, right? So this has been achieved by a simple function which I've written, which is on the file, wherein I've done nothing much than just replacing the inner HTML of the div field with the value of the input field. This is what is happening there. So that's very simple function. Now coming to the main function, where the application runs, right? So this is an XML HTTP request being put to use, wherein it opens a connection and it uses the get method, gets the data which is in the input field and supplies it to this URL. And this URL actually is nothing but a file which is in the CGI bin, right? It's a Python file, and I'll be showing it to you, showing you that as well. It's nothing but 5 to 10 lines of code for Python, wherein I'm using the shebang, which is mandatory for a Python script to run on the CGI, right? So there's nothing much here. It's just the CGI field storage to use, and the sub-process library is just giving us the output, and we are printing that output. So that is what here. That's what is happening here. And like I mentioned you that I'm using the AJAX functionality, right? If at all this was false, the AJAX wouldn't work. AJAX is just, let me remind you that this box doesn't interfere, you know, this box's functionality doesn't interfere the functionality of this input box, and vice versa is also true. So that is achieved because of the AJAX functionality. So when after the connection is opened and the response is sent, and this response is captured here, and this is just rendered onto the output field. That's it. It's just as simple as that. I have written two things for the same thing here because there are two input boxes. We could have written it in a simpler way as well, wherein you could just give this and done this, right? But that's fine. Even if you write it this way, it's okay. But it just makes your code a little bit more number of lines. It just gives you six, seven extra lines for this. That's fine actually. So overall, this is what happens, and this is what the code is for the page which I've shown. I end it here. Thank you so much.